An influencer had bought an Annabelle doll and had it locked up inside a glass display just right beside his kitchen. For months, nothing happened. The doll just sat there silent, motionless as all dolls should. In fact, normal became a routine. Then one day, he walked into the kitchen and noticed something very strange. The glass cage suddenly opened on its own. It had no cracks, no damage, just slowly swung open. Without thinking twice, he closed the door and latched it shut the same way he always had. Then something else happened. Objects in the kitchen began to fall on their own, as if something was moving through the kitchen. The crazy part? He knew he was alone. It felt almost as if whatever had been inside the cage had already stepped out and did not appreciate being locked back in. Case number 9, Phantom Shot. This CCTV footage shows a man stretched out on a pool table, casually scrolling on his phone, completely relaxed. Nothing in the room suggested that anything was wrong, but watch what happened seconds later. A pool ball suddenly bounced on his head, alerting the guy. He didn't realize it at first, but when he finally did, he didn't wait around to investigate. He immediately got off the table and ran. Now, if you watch closely, you can see that the ball didn't roll from the side. It hopped, as if it had been deliberately thrown towards the man's head. The cameras kept rolling a few seconds after, and nothing else seemed to be out of place. But whatever it was remains a mystery. Case number 8, Unseen Hands. A little girl was calmly playing with her swing when the cupboard door beside her suddenly opened, then shut on its own. She didn't notice it at first, and when she finally did, more and more strange things were caught on camera, suggesting she wasn't alone. The doors had opened again and didn't close this time, and as the girl tried to stop playing with the swing should have slowed down, but it didn't. It started moving faster with longer arcs and sharper pulls, as if someone had just grabbed it and pushed. This made the little girl take off, and just as her mother's voice is heard in the background, everything goes still. Nothing was visible, but it was clear that something unseen was in that room. Case number 7, the barbershop poltergeist. This surveillance footage was recorded from a barbershop that was said to be haunted. The owner had been informed years ago that the shop was built on land that once served as a Native American cemetery. At the time, he took it as old stories and local rumors, nothing more. It didn't matter until the day he reviewed this footage. A male customer in the store had noticed the blue cape move on its own and quickly took off. The workers in the shop didn't even believe him and thought he was crazy. But there's more than enough to prove otherwise. While the customer was busy trying to explain things to the workers, no one noticed the mannequin head slowly rotating towards the customer's direction. There was no explanation for what might have caused this, but it's definitely something out of the ordinary. Case number 6, the elevator ghost. This CCTV footage shows 2 men exiting a building using an elevator. The doors open and they reach their floor. And as expected, both men are seen stepping out of the elevator, except something else that no one was meant to witness happened. In the exact spot where one of the men had been standing just seconds after he stepped out, a figure of an elderly person suddenly materialized inside the elevator. It just appeared from nowhere and slowly walked to the edge of the elevator, eventually disappearing from the frame. If that didn't send shivers down your spine, I don't know what else would. Got a chilling encounter of your own? Email us your footage for a chance to be featured in a future video. Send your footage to theafterhourarchives@gmail.com. Case number 5, the white figure. Not long after moving into a new apartment, this man began documenting a series of strange occurrences that seemed to center around his bedroom.
Lately I've been having Very strange, kind of some weird paranormal type stuff with the doors opening by itself. And that was still was actually the second night. It was the second night. Then I think it was around 11. I was kind of in my office, but I was going to bed. And all of a sudden, I look at this weird looking creepy apparition that was kind of exactly around right in the same air corner. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh crap. So I kind of ran. I'm like, what the heck is that? And it had hands, and I saw half of his face, but it looked like white ghostly. I don't know what it is, but very weird. It was very weird. But then all of a sudden, it's just crazy. Oh snap! What the heck? What the heck? Hello?
At first, it was small things like sounds,
It's the second night. Then,
movement, and his door suddenly closing or opening on its own. But then it escalated into something he didn't know even existed.
what the heck? Y'all see that? Man, that thing's all by itself, and there's no wind drag or nothing. Look at the fan, look at that fan, the fan working. What the heck? Y'all saw that, right? This is what I'm talking about. It's doing it by itself. Nobody there. The freak is wrong with this?
To make sure it wasn't the wind or someone doing it, he even panned the camera to the fan, which was off, and to the hallways to show that there was no one there. So what was messing with him? Later footage, captured in night vision, shows a strange light anomaly drifting through the hallway. He had also said something about a white figure that was standing in his hallway some days back. However, after the last update, the man left the apartment and disappeared from social media as well, and stayed that way for over 2 years. And to this day, no clear explanation has been given. Case number 4, the hospital corridor apparition. This footage was shared on TikTok by user WTF.JBL, reportedly sent to him by a nurse working the graveyard shift at a local hospital. The video follows the nurse as he slowly pans his camera through the building's dark and empty corridors. Then the camera stops. Standing in the center of the hallway is a human-shaped figure. It stood there, clearly motionless, upright, exactly where a person shouldn't be. The nurse hesitated, then pans the camera away for a moment, and when he turns back, the hallway is empty. There was no sound of it leaving, and clearly no movement caught between frames. 1 second it's there, and the next it wasn't. The footage ends shortly after, leaving behind a single, uncomfortable question. If the hallway was truly empty, what was standing there then? Case number 3, the haunted locker. This footage was recorded inside a locker room, where at first, nothing seemed out of place. The place was quiet, and you can say that everything looked normal, but that silence wasn't for long. the back door suddenly swung open and slammed shut on its own. Moments later, a locker started to shake, and clearly it wasn't due to a loose hinge or something. It was violent, as if something had grabbed them and was testing their strength. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. Seconds later, one locker burst open, sending papers flying out of it and scattering across the floor like they had been flung out. As if that wasn't enough, a caution board on the floor nearby tore loose and went flying. There was no one seen throughout the creepy event. But if truly there was a dark presence there, it was extremely angry. Case number 2, the Roadway entity. While driving through a desolate stretch of Arenas Valley, New Mexico, a woman's dash cam caught something on camera that she couldn't explain. A pale, translucent figure stood by the roadside, just beyond the reach of her headlights. It didn't try to move toward her. It simply stood there, human in shape, but almost impossible to place. Then just as suddenly as it appeared, it was gone. And if you look back at the footage again, you might notice it's still watching. Case number 1, hospital anomalies. Paranormal investigator Adam Mark conducted an investigation inside Bronnagarth Hospital in North Wales, a site with a dark past that refuses to stay buried. Long before it was abandoned, the building served as a Victorian workhouse, then a prison, then a hospital. It is said that thousands passed through its doors, but many never truly left. Records have even shown that people died here in isolation, and during the investigation, reports centered around a recurring presence. Let's check it out.
These old offices. Dog. Who called us a dog?
Oh, I hear a noise behind me.
Do you have any toys?
Your waiting rooms. Whoa.
I'm here for the chaos.
You're here for the chaos? Did you hear that on the glass?
Yeah, I did. I was just about to say, did you do that really wisely?
Do you want to wait there?
They're confronted by an entity that made its intentions clear. It said it was there for the chaos, and that was only the beginning.
Let's hold that door, maybe. Really tapping on the glass.
The entity tried to shut Adam in the next room, but Adam reacted quickly. A second slower, and he would have been locked in alone. But as the investigations continued, the duo was in for a horrifying surprise.
What's that? If there's a little boy, would you like to play hide and seek? Okay, there's something on my left again. It's a blank wall. There's a tiny figure in this room.
Is there?
Disappeared as I properly looked at it. Hello? Can you show yourself? Gone.
How weird.
If there's somebody that would like to make contact with us to show us that you're still here, we'd like you to show yourself. We'd like you to manifest. See, it's picking you up. Whoa, right in the corridor. Middle of the corridor. See, that's the stuff I'm looking for, because there's nothing that would pick it up, you know?
No. Is it still there?
It just flashed again, yeah.
If you watch closely, you can see the mapping of a small humanoid figure, flickering in and out, never staying long enough to fully reveal itself. It appears, vanishes, and then returns again, responding as Adam tries to communicate with it. No further updates have been made, but so far, we're left to believe that it is the spirits of those who died that continue to haunt the place to date. If tonight's archives kept you on edge, make sure to hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and join us for the next upload.